records that when you're an Edmonton Oiler in 2024 and you're trying to chase a record, some of them are just so unattainable. Like, you're never going to get Gretzky's points. You're probably not winning 5 cups in the next few years. Maybe you will. But to get a record, to do something that that group never did, is that, can you put that in perspective?
Yeah. Club that establishes the new franchise record. What comes to mind?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's this franchise has a rich history, so to be able to do a franchise record is pretty awesome. And this group has worked hard for it. We were close here earlier this year and even last year. I remember we had a run at it, so it was nice to get it.
There's a lot of wins in this organization for a long time, so it's kind of hard to believe that they never won 10 games in a row back then, with the teams they had. So, but we'll obviously take it, and something that obviously.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Gene. You guys are watching Lubed for January the 14th, 2024. And a quick shout out to Connor McDavid. Happy birthday, man. I hope you enjoyed it. I think you enjoyed it, considering you set a franchise record last night. Wow. Wow. This team is crazy good. They got also a 9-game winning streak that goes back from last year that was actually dissolved with game 1 of the season this year when they lost that 8-1-0 to the Vancouver Canucks. To put this into perspective, and we're going to get into the history right away here, to put this into perspective, the 80s Oilers never did this. The Dynasty Oilers never accomplished a 10-game winning streak. I don't even think they accomplished a 9-game winning. No, they didn't. They didn't accomplish a 9-game. They were in on, I think, a few 6 games. We'll find out right away. But this is a huge deal, guys. This is huge. There's so many Canadian teams that are really good this year. You got Vancouver, you got Winnipeg, you got Toronto. Toronto we'll discuss a little bit, but I mean Edmonton, and now you're seeing Calgary starting to kind of creep up and do actually well. I kind of was joking about it with Sammy last night on NHL Aftermath, saying if they make the play, or if they win the Stanley Cup, I'm going to quit doing these videos. But you know what? They're actually legit. I actually looked at how far back they are. They're in the mix still. Calgary is still in the mix. So, very interesting. So, before we go into the Edmonton Oilers Habs game and the recap of it and what led to the history being rewritten, let's get into the history being rewritten as the Edmonton Oilers created history last night by defeating the Montreal Canadiens in overtime. It was close. It was sketchy, and now have a 10-game winning streak. This is something that the Edmonton Oilers can call their own. The current day Edmonton Oilers, the Draisaitl McDavid, they can actually say this is something that they accomplished that even the legendary Oilers did not accomplish. 15 times in the history of the Edmonton Oilers, they had a 6-game winning streak. 6 times they had an 8-game winning streak. 3 times they've had a 9. And I'm going to consider even the one that they're currently on, even though it's surpassed 9, it's actually at 10. 3 times they've had a 7-game winning streak. It's amazing what we are witnessing with the Edmonton Oilers. 9-game winning streak. Here's some of the dates that they had. So February 20th, 2001 to March 13th, 2001. The streak ended. Now, you guys remember, there was a time when the shootout was not part of the NHL. They did the 5-on-5, but if it ended in a tie after that, it was still a tie. So it ended in a 2-2 tie, which caused the Edmonton Oilers to lose their streak back then. And that's 2001. This is past Gretzky. This is probably Ryan Smith, Doug Waite era. I don't even know if Doug Waite was on the team. This was, a team that was, at this point in time, I believe, no, it wasn't the Decade of Darkness, because the Decade of Darkness happened after 2006, after the Cup run. But this was the team that was really trying to fight Dallas. This is when I hated Dallas. When they were always beating Edmonton in the playoffs, and I couldn't stand the Dallas Stars. They were actually a worse hated team for me back in 2001 than Calgary Flames were. So yeah, that streak ended. And then on March 27th of last year, the Oilers started a streak, and that ended on October 11th, the first game of this season, with that 8-1 brutal blasting that the Canucks gave us for the season opener. Yeah, it wasn't pretty at all. Not at all. So yeah, with that being said, history was rewritten yesterday, and it's going to be rewritten until they lose. So we'll see where this streak stops at, as they will have the Toronto Maple Leafs in on Tuesday night. Now let's get into the Edmonton Oilers and the Montreal Canadiens game that did happen. Definitely a battle of two coaches that, well, one of them is like very offensive minded. The other, and that's Martin St. Louis of the Montreal Canadiens. The other is very, not necessarily offensive minded, but very structured and leans towards being offensive minded. As they peppered the Montreal Canadiens with quite a bit of shots last night. And the Montreal Canadiens were able to hold in. Again, Stuart Skinner, lights out game for him, as he looked really, really good. Okay, so it was a 2-1 final in overtime, and boy, I think we all breathed a sigh of relief when that goal went in overtime. Just knowing that streak is alive. The Edmonton Oilers outshot the Canadiens 41-24. So you can tell the offense was definitely there. The offense is never an issue with the Edmonton Oilers. It's the finishing that seems to be lately. But then again, lately, they've been up against some high-caliber goaltending. Their power play opportunities, they were 1 for 5, so 20%. Their power play is still definitely nowhere near what it was last year, as they were absolutely dominating and making NHL records. That's another NHL record that they did last year, was their power play, having the best power play in NHL history. So is this team legit? This team has to be legit to get all these franchise and NHL records going together. The other one that happened already, like just a week ago, was Chris Knobloch getting 2 7-game winning streaks within the first 25 games of his tender. So this team is definitely legit. The penalty killed, they were 3 for 4, so they killed 75% of them. Montreal did score on one of their power plays that they were awarded. Now here on the face-off dot, I got this number absolutely wrong here, as I got them at 75.9. I don't know where I got the 75, but it was actually 46.9. So they were actually a worse on the face-off dot than the Montreal Canadiens. Goals against average and save percentage. Well, Stuart Skinner had 1 goal on 23 saves, giving him a .958 save percentage. Another amazing night by Skins. And he'll probably be playing, I guess, the game when they're back home against Toronto. So yeah, there you have it, guys. Another great game by the Edmonton Oilers. And they are cruising up the standings quickly and making noise. This team is definitely making noise. As you can see, this is what's weird here, is all the stats that the Edmonton Oilers have right now actually went down despite the win. So they actually are now in the second wild card, when prior to, or the last episode I did, they had the first wild card spot. They have 47 points. They are literally 1 point back of the LA Kings to take third in the Pacific, though. So that's huge. Some of the other things that, let me just pull up some of the stats that I had here on the ticker here. But some of the other stuff that they are right now, and like I say, everything went down. I was kind of mind blown when I was saying, like, is this right? Because they actually were seventh last time I did an episode. They're now eighth in the West, in possession of the second wild card, which was the first. And even Money Puck had them at 91 point something last time, and now they're at 90.7. So a bit of a drop off when it comes to that. But yeah, just an unreal chain of events that has unfolded with this Edmonton Oiler group since Knobloch has taken over. So up next for the Edmonton Oilers is the Toronto Maple Leafs as they come into town. And it was kind of funny that I was watching some stuff on YouTube, and William Nylander was already being called out by his coach after getting the money, and his coach was already calling him out, saying that line was not very good, which is quite funny considering they just gave him the highest contract as a whole in Maple Leaf history. Yes, we know Austin Matthews makes more per year, but I'm talking he's got 8 years of this money coming in. So he's going to accumulate the most money from the Toronto Maple Leafs in Toronto Maple Leaf history, and that puts them at 4 forwards, I think all over $11 million, and something like, if you include next year's increase of the cap, something like 52 or 53% of their cap with the cap increase. So, talk about really playing with fire here. This could really blow up in the Maple Leafs' face, and they could have years and years of hard luck. So yeah, they take on the Leafs. It should be a huge battle as they got lots of talent. Austin Matthews, Nylander, Mitch Marner, John Tavares, just to name a few, but defensively and goaltending wise, they've had their struggles this year. The Oilers' record going into this game, 22-15-1, and are fourth in the Pacific with 47 points. The Leafs' record is 21-11-8, third in the Atlantic with 50 points. Excuse me. So yeah, they are a fairly decent team. Some of the stats that I got pulled up here that may make a difference here. If I can just get that out of the way. Okay, it just doesn't want to get out of the way there, so I'm going to have to just kind of work around it. So when it comes to, why won't that? Okay, let me just, 1 second, guys. Okay, now it's out of my way. Okay, so as far as goals, they are fourth in the league with 3.55 goals per game. I would hope so. With the amount of money that is going out to their offense, I would hope that they are top 5. I would really hope so. However, the Oilers are seventh in the league at 3.49. The power play, they're pretty good on the power play. Them and the Oilers kind of are right. They're actually ahead of the Oilers by 1 spot in the league, as they are 6th. The Oilers are 7th. Goals allowed. The Oilers are tied for 13th. Toronto is 20th. So there you go. That's where their woes are, is their defense. Their shooting percentage, they are 10th in the league, 10.6. We're 17th in the league at 10.1. What else here? What's another notable stat? Penalty kill. So the Maple Leafs have a crappy penalty kill. 25th in the league, 76.7%. The Oilers are 11th in the league at 81%. So this year, the penalty kill is actually doing better for the Edmonton Oilers than the power play. Well, I wouldn't say better in that regards, but It's actually not quite better, but I'm just saying their penalty kill has significantly improved since last year. The goaltenders for tomorrow, for Tuesday is when this game is they have Martin Jones, which has a .924 save percentage, 2 shutouts. Stuart Skinner, a .903 with 2 shutouts as well, and a record of 18-9-1. Martin Jones is 8-4-1. The recent history, of course, we know the Edmonton Oilers are on a 10-game winning streak in their last 10. Meanwhile, the Maple Leafs have lost their last 2. The home record for the Edmonton Oilers is 11-6-1. Meanwhile, the away record for Toronto is 11-3-6. So Toronto actually plays pretty good on the road. So that could be an interesting thing to see what actually happens. I don't know how this game is going to go, but Oilers are definitely feeling the heat right now and feeling like very competitive. The last time they met, Toronto beat the Oilers on March 11th, 2023 by a count of 7-4. So there you have it, guys. It should be a hell of a game, and I'm hoping we can get that streak to 11. This is good, man. This is good. I can't say this back in November. In November, I was a miserable. Right now, I'm just miserable because I can't get my car fired up still, but that's the only thing. Other than that, I'm happy when it comes to the Oilers situation. Okay, guys, let's get into final thoughts. If you guys want to chime in tonight, which so far no one has, feel free to do so. Other than that, I will close her out, and we will move on to the Toronto Maple Leafs game on Tuesday. So again, I want to wish Connor McDavid a happy birthday, and what a birthday present he got from the organization as they made Edmonton Oiler history last night. Just speechless. Absolutely speechless. Now, they had a close chance of doing this a couple months back. However, they fell a little bit short, but they got the job done. And it is literally hard to believe that the great teams of the 80s never achieved this feat. And it's taken us till 2023 to see this and see all these different records. Like, this team needs that Stanley Cup. Like, it should happen. It should happen. But I mean, this year is going to be a very difficult year and look, if Canada's ever going to win a Stanley Cup, and I think it's 32 years in running where they haven't, the last team was the Montreal Canadiens of 84. This is going to be the year. Winnipeg, Vancouver, Edmonton, Toronto, and even Calgary starting to slowly sneak up and get in there. And can you imagine Calgary winning a Stanley Cup? Well, I'll be kind of pissed, but you know what? I'll be happy a Canadian team finally breaks that thing. So no matter what, I'm obviously rooting for my Oilers first and foremost, but I am rooting for a Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup, and I will back them if the Oilers can't get it done. Anyway, guys, I think I'm going to wrap this up for tonight. If you guys like the content I bring and are new to this channel and haven't seen it before, but think I can bring you some useful content, feel free to hit that like, share, and subscribe and spread the word. As for all of you guys who have followed me through thick and thin, I greatly appreciate it. Remember to leave comments on the channel whenever you want, and join in on all the votes I have, which I was supposed to actually give you the vote. I'll try to remember to give that next time, the vote update from Was That a Goal a few episodes ago. I forgot to actually do that. I will try to remember to do that next time. Anyway, guys, I think that's it for me. I am going to call it a night. I will see you hopefully Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know exactly when. Just follow the thumbnails of when I'm coming on, and it's usually a 6 p.m. start at whatever time, or 6 p.m. Pacific start, so probably 7 for you guys in Alberta. and it'll be on a non-game night. All right, guys, I'm out. You guys have a great night. Stay warm. Have a good evening.